What is up guys, Jarv here, back today jumping into Destiny. In today's video we're taking a look at all the best sources to get high stat armor. It's one of the most tedious grinds in Destiny, so whether you're a new player, a returning player, or even a solo player, we've got you covered, so be sure to stick around and enjoy the video. If you do enjoy the video, be sure to leave a comment and rating down below, and remember to subscribe for more Destiny 2 content. Just over 60% of the viewers on the channel aren't currently subscribed, so make sure to hit that red button and ring that bell to ensure you don't miss an update. But without further delay guys, let's jump into the video. Now, grinding high stat armor is one of the most tedious and endless grinds in Destiny. It feels like it's something that you're always doing, whether you're a veteran returning to the game or just jumping into Destiny for the first time. So today we're going to take a look at what high stat armor is, how the stats work, and more importantly, the best sources to get your hands on them, especially with Lightfall just around the corner. Now in our video today, we're focusing on legendary armor, and high stat legendary armor is any armor piece with a stat of 60 or more. Now legendary armor can randomly roll with a stat total that ranges from 48 all the way up to 68, so they can vary quite considerably. And on top of that, there are 6 different stats that contribute to the overall stat total. Now these come in the form of mobility that determines your strafe speed and initial jump height, alongside the hunter's dodge cooldown. That's followed by resilience that determines your shield HP and any resistance to stasis, and this helps determine the barricade cooldown for titans. As for recovery, this determines your health recharge delay and the recovery speed, and this will also determine the rift cooldown speed for warlocks. Next up we have discipline that determines your grenade cooldown, intellect that determines your super cooldown, and strength that determines your melee cooldown. Now each of these can roll with a stat ranging between 2 and 30. Now whilst there are 6 stats to choose from, these aren't entirely random in terms of how the stats are distributed. In fact, the game separates these into 2 separate pools. The first pool consisting of mobility, resilience and recovery, with the second pool consisting of discipline, intellect and strength. Now if we take a piece of armor that has a 60 stat roll, the game will effectively take this stat total and cut that in half, and then distribute those points between each of the 2 pools. Now with 30 stat points being available to each pool, the game will now do one of 2 things. It will either distribute these stats evenly across all of them, which will make it very difficult to get spiky stats such as the one in the thumbnail, or it will bias towards 2 stats, picking one from each pool. Now, if you're looking for a triple 100 stat build in Destiny 2, then you'll often find that the best armor focuses on just 2 of these 6 stats. Now, generally the stats that the game biases towards is entirely random, but there are ways to manipulate that by using Ghost Armorer mods. Now, if you equip one of these on your Ghost before running any activity or farming for high stat armor, then these will affect the stats that the game biases towards when these armor pieces drop. So that's a quick look at high stat armor, what the stats mean, and more importantly how you can manipulate them so they drop the stats that you want. But what are all the best sources for high stat armor, especially if I'm running solo, if I'm new or returning to Destiny? Now surprisingly, one of the best sources for high stat armor is through Prime Engrams. Each day your Guardians get 2 Prime Engrams added to their Prime Attunement buff. Now if you don't play Destiny each and every day, then these 2 engrams get banked for future days that you do play. Now Prime Engrams will drop during gameplay either by killing combatants or by completing activities. And if you hand these in over at Master Rahul over in the Tower Courtyard, then these have just over a 50% chance of dropping high stat armor. These are also great for evening out your power level if you're on the power grind, which will be absolutely critical when jumping into Lightfall at the end of February. Now whilst we're over in the tower, you can also get some decent armor from the tower vendors by completing their 8 bounties, which will grant you an additional powerful reward. For the first 5 times that you unlock engrams at these vendors, these will unlock a unique armor piece. The goal behind this is to allow you to unlock the full armor set that is introduced to this vendor each and every season, but as a consequence, these first 5 armor pieces are in fact very well rolled. Any engrams that you then earn after these 5 will then be split between weapons and armor. Now, if Crucible is your thing, then you have 2 great sources for high stat armor. We have Iron Banner and Trials of Osiris. In Season 20, Iron Banner will be available 3 times in the season, and Trials of Osiris will be available every weekend with the exception of the 3 weeks that Iron Banner is in rotation. Now, Iron Banner is a 6v6 game mode, whereas Trials of Osiris is a 3v3 game mode. Now, Iron Banner thankfully has a freelance option, as does Trials of Osiris as a featured playlist throughout the season. So if you're looking to jump in as a solo player, then make sure to take advantage of the freelance playlists to ensure that you're match made with other solo players. Now, both Lord Saladin and Saint 14 work in a similar way in that you'll earn engrams for these events as you rank up, and you can earn XP by completing and winning matches. Now, focusing is available from both of these vendors, but these will only be unlocked once you have the items in your collection. Now, if you haven't unlocked all the armor items, then if you take the Trials or Iron Banner engrams over to Master Rahul, then he'll decrypt these engrams into random gear. Now, this gear is decrypted in the form of a knockout list until you've unlocked all the items. Now, once the armor piece is unlocked, you'll be able to focus decrypt engrams at the relevant vendor. Now, what you'll find is that these focused pieces of armor are very well rolled, but if you're looking for almost guaranteed high stat armor, then the weekly pinnacle, which are random, will drop with very high stats alongside any powerful rank ups that you earn. So if you don't mind a little bit of PvP, then make sure to take advantage of these two playlists when they're available. Now, if you have access to Beyond Light, then it may be worth considering Empire Hunts. Now, to gain access to these, you'll need to unlock the Europan Gear 3 upgrade over at Varix over on Europa, and this will grant you access to the Empire Hunts. Now, these are available on the Hero, Legend and Master difficulty, with the Hero version being match made. Now, with Empire Hunts, the harder the difficulty, the more likely you are to get high stat armor. With that being said though, it still has a rare chance to drop, and if you run this on the Master difficulty, you can even skip all the champions, and this will still have a very high chance of giving you high stats on your armor. Now, next up, if you have access to the Witch Queen, then replayable campaign missions is a potential option. Much like the Empire Hunts, this is available on the Hero, Legend and Master difficulty, with once again the Hero version being match made. Now, to gain access to these missions, you'll first need to upgrade Finch over in the Throne World, and you can do that by completing bounties, patrols, public events, lost sectors, and pretty much anything else in this destination. Now, as before, if you are able to get a fire team together, then the higher difficulty tiers do offer greater chances at higher stat armor. Alongside the weekly missions, we do also have the Wellspring. Now, once again, it is possible to unlock higher difficulty tiers using Finch over in the Throne World by leveling him up, but it's only the regular version of the Wellspring which is match made. Now, when selecting the difficulty, it will state that the armor set is available, but doesn't state it as high stat. But what you'll find is if you complete it once per character per week, then your first completion of the week across these characters will have a chance to drop a high stat piece of armor. Now, from here, we're going to move on to seasonal content. And the first vendor to consider is the one over at the war table over in the Helm, and this is from Season of the Risen. Now, in order to farm high stat armor here, you'll first need to unlock the armor decoding clearance upgrade at the war table. You'll be able to pick this up using insight that you can earn by completing one of the seasonal challenges. And once you have this unlocked, this will unlock a brand new section in the inventory where you can purchase armor pieces. Now, you'll be able to purchase these using a combination of legendary shards, an Umbral engram, and also Risen Umbral energy. Now, this energy will only drop from PsyOps Battlegrounds unless you've already purchased the Umbral energy requisition upgrade, which is also available at the war table. Now, PsyOps Battlegrounds is the best way to get your hands on all these materials as long as you have enough psychogenic intel to open the runic chest at the end of the run. Now, by running this and focusing our armor engrams, and by taking advantage of our armor mods on our ghost that we mentioned earlier in the video, you can get some pretty incredible spiky stats. It's certainly one of the easiest and best armor farms still in Destiny, and well worth taking advantage of before Lightfall drops. Another season to consider is Season of the Haunted, and if you visit the Crown of Sorrow over in the Helm, you can also purchase an upgrade called Haunted Armourer Focusing. You'll need a Figment of Darkness to unlock this upgrade, which once again can be earned via one of the seasonal challenges. Now, if you've managed to unlock all the upgrades at the Crown of Sorrow, a single run of the Nightmare Containment will not only drop an Umbral engram, but also 9 Haunted energy. This means after your very first clear, a single run of the containment will be enough to focus a high stat piece of armor. On top of this though, each run that you do has a chance to drop a bound essence, and this provides even more Umbral energy when completing a Sever mission. Now, much like the Wellspring, and by completing that once per character per week, your first run of a 7 mission each week in fact has a chance to drop high stat armor too. So not only are you earning key materials to focus engrams, you can straight up just earn a high stat piece of gear. So if you aren't taking advantage of the Season of the Haunted and Season of the Risen vendors in the Helm, then make sure to do so whilst you can. And finally, another source of high stat armor to consider if you're a new, returning or solo player is straight up on your Season Pass. In fact, the armor on the Season of the Seraph Season Pass for Season 19 are some of the most aggressive stat distributions we've seen and some of the highest stat rolls overall. So if you're at this point in the video you think, bro, that's just too much work, then simply just level up your Season Pass before the end of the season, pick up the armor that's available there, and you'll be pretty much good to go come Lightfall on the 28th of February. So there we have it guys, a full breakdown of high stat armor and everywhere you can get it from if you're a new, returning or solo player. If you've enjoyed this video, be sure to check out one of the 2 videos you see here in these cards for more Destiny 2 content. And if you want to keep up to date with everything to do with Destiny 2, then be sure to hit subscribe as well. I'm going to jump back into the game as always guys, and I will catch you all again very soon.